Arizona sports.
Wow.
Breaking news.
What are we doing?
So, Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon met with the media today and said that wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. will play on Saturday against the Saints.
All right.
He was going to take
All right.
it on a case-by-case basis. There it is, right there. Okay, I like it. Okay, Marvin Harrison Jr., first of all, would like to go out and get some preseason snaps.
He's been pretty consistent with that. So maybe he said that to JG.
I love that if he did. Honestly, I'd love to know that. You know what I mean? Marvin told us he wants to.
Yeah.
So of course he would tell coach that.
I would think. I mean,
I just want to know how badly, because there's telling him that, and then there's telling him that.
Well, we've already had him on once this week. I don't know if we're getting him back before the
I
end
know.
of the week.
Marv, look at me. Did you tell him you were going to play, or did you just tell him you were going to play?
Well, apparently
Right?
he told him because he's playing.
Right. I mean, I think that's a situation where I think you want to leave it up to the player. And I'm glad they're going to play Marvin Harrison Jr.
I thought his reasoning for it made a lot of sense. So if he did if Jonathan Gannon asked him, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to play? And like, how important is it to you?" I thought the reasoning he gave us of like, "Yeah, it's just the timing. Like, just get some time." I honestly, Wolf, I think, and I hope it's sort of what my stance has been on this all week. Play him a little bit. You don't even need to throw him the ball. I mean, if he's open, you throw him the ball, whatever. But like, he probably just needs like one drive just to kind of get a feel what it's like. Okay, NFL speed, right? And I'm fine if he doesn't play again this preseason, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to see Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot in the preseason.
Yeah, I'm playing him a quarter. There you go. You're playing
Andy
a
Reid?
quarter. Yeah, I'm going Andy Reid. I'm going full-on Andy Reid. You know what? The ones are going to play the first quarter. The twos are going to play the second. You get it.
See, now I don't.
You understand.
Wait,
Do you have the cut of Andy Reid? Do you want to
picking
play
up
that?
the pattern there.
I thought I was
the
maybe
threes
ruining
play
your
the 30.
cut.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, I have it. Here you go.
As far as the play time for this game, we'll go the ones for a quarter, just ones for a quarter, twos for the second quarter, threes the third quarter, and the fours for the fourth quarter. And we'll just keep it at that.
Let's keep it simple.
I just love that right there. The way he says, as far as the playing time, and you could hear he exhaled because he knew everyone wanted to know what are you going to do? We're going to play the ones the first quarter. We're going to play the twos the second quarter. It's just so easy, isn't it?
Look, all due respect to the Chiefs, they win the Super Bowl every single year. Like, is there really that much as somebody watching? Is it really that exciting to see Travis Kelce in a preseason game?
Yeah.
Whereas, like Marvin Harrison Jr., nobody's ever seen him play in the NFL because he hasn't played in the NFL.
Right. And once again, to be fair, though, listen, I realize that he's playing his ones in the first quarter. But to be fair right here, they're not winning Super Bowls because he's playing his ones in preseason. They're not winning Super Bowls because of that, okay? They're winning Super Bowls because they're really, really talented.
They're winning Super Bowls because they have Patrick Mahomes.
Period.
And we said this earlier. I don't know that I would be playing Patrick Mahomes in the preseason if I were the Chiefs. I know he wants to, and I know Andy Reid
love the fact Andy Reid is, though.
Yeah, well.
I just love it. You know what? This is what football players do. They play football. And if you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. They play football. That's what they do. Now, again, there's being responsible as well. And being responsible, I think, is saying, yeah, you're going to play a quarter. That's what you're going to do. I'm all for that. You got to look at a lot of guys that are trying to make the roster. You got to look for talent that is out there in preseason. You already know what you have in your starters. You already know that. Still, I'm going to play them.
Football players also get in fights if they're members of the Seahawks. They get in fights with each other. Did you I'm going to play this cut from Mike McDonald real quick. There was, 5 fights?
Yes, at least.
And it wasn't.
What I heard.
It wasn't a joint practice, right? Unless I missed something. It was just the Seahawks fighting with the Seahawks. And at one point, it was hilarious. I read a quote where they were like, DK Metcalf really got up and spoke to everybody afterwards, and really kind of DK Metcalf was swinging a helmet at his teammates.
That's right.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, we've been getting after it. It's I'm proud of how we responded today. We came out, we were ready to practice. I don't know what the numbers are, but we've been out here. I don't know, 14 of the last 16 days. I think we're tired of going against one another, but the guys are guys are spirited. We had a great practice, and we're excited for Saturday.
Yeah, we're just going to try to work out that alpha and beta thing. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to go ahead and let them kind of work that out. And it's amazing to me how many people think that fights in training camp divide the locker room. They do the exact opposite. It has been my experience. They do the exact opposite. It brings everybody closer and tighter together because there's a lot of tension that is built up inside that locker room. Why? Because you're playing an incredibly violent physical sport known as football. It creates tension inside because maybe a guy did something to you, or maybe he hit you a little bit late, and maybe you think he's got a problem with you, and maybe he's got a problem with you, and maybe vice versa as well. So maybe you ought to just have it out right there on the field where you're not really going to break anyone's teeth because you got a mouth guard in. Maybe just have it out and get it over with, and then, you know what, you look at each other and kind of laugh at the end of it. And all of that tension leaves the locker room. And not only that, it's an awesome reminder to everybody how hard you ought to play and how much you ought to care about playing the game of football. It's a great reminder that you would play so hard that you would just lose your mind and suddenly go to blows with a teammate. It's a great reminder of how hard to play the game of football and how much you ought to care about playing the game of football. That's just me.
It's, it would appear Dan Campbell feels the same way, and Brian Dable. Here's Jordan Raanan yesterday talking about the just ongoing war that is Giants and Lions joint practice. I mean, those two teams, I hope they play in the regular season. I got to look that up.
Dan Campbell for the Lions, Brian Dable for the Giants. They're fighting back and forth. It's going on every few plays. There's a couple brawls. Didn't seem to care that much. At the end of the second day, they started pulling guys out, but they didn't pull guys. It was okay, we want this atmosphere. We not of actual fighting, but we want this intense atmosphere. We want both teams to have a little edge. We want these teams to build some toughness. I mean, that's what Dan Campbell is built on, right?
Well, they don't play each other this year. They play each other tonight in the preseason game, but they don't play each other this season.
Okay, there you go. All right, well done right there. I'm wondering what Brian Dable is actually saying to his players up there. You know what? I'll take Dan Campbell down. I'll take him down.
Coach
thinks
fight?
He's this big, tough guy. I'll get up there. And if he got up in front of his team and said that, it would just, I guarantee you, the laughs that would be going on right now.
Has there ever been a coach fight?
Man, yeah, on the sideline. Buddy Ryan.
Well, okay, that's
Kevin Gilbride.
That's a different category.
Buddy Ryan tried to throw a punch. It was the weakest straight right hand I think we've ever seen on a sideline.
I meant opposing coaches fighting each other.
Okay.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.